Hello, nursing students. Welcome to Nursing Exam Preparation, your ultimate resource for mastering nursing exams with confidence. In today's video, we'll walk you through 150 multiple-choice questions, MCQs, on anatomy and physiology, each designed to challenge your understanding and deepen your knowledge of this crucial topic. After each question, we'll provide detailed explanations to not only help you choose the right answer, but also to enhance your understanding of the reasoning behind it. Whether you're just starting your studies or preparing for an upcoming exam, this video is packed with valuable content to sharpen your skills, improve your critical thinking, and reinforce key concepts in anatomy and physiology. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow students, and subscribe to Nursing Exam Preparation for more helpful resources. Make sure to click the bell icon to stay updated on our latest videos, all designed to support your success. Once you've completed the video, drop your score in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you did. Let's get started and work towards mastering anatomy and physiology to excel in your nursing exams. 1. Which of the following is the primary function of the red blood cells, RBCs? A. Transport oxygen. B. Fight infections. C. Produce platelets. D. Store glucose. Answer: A. Transport oxygen. Rationale: red blood cells, RBCs, are primarily responsible for transporting oxygen from the lungs to tissues and carbon dioxide back to the lungs for exhalation. Option B is the role of white blood cells, Option C is the role of bone marrow, and Option D is not the function of RBCs. 2. Which organ is primarily responsible for the regulation of blood glucose levels? A. Liver. B. Kidney. C. Heart. D. Lungs. Answer: A. Liver. Rationale: the liver regulates blood glucose levels through the processes of glycogenesis, glycogenolysis, and gluconeogenesis. The kidneys filter blood but do not regulate glucose, and the heart and lungs do not play a direct role in glucose regulation. 3. Which part of the brain is responsible for regulating breathing rate and depth? A. Medulla oblongata. B. Cerebellum. C. Thalamus. D. Hippocampus. Answer: A. Medulla oblongata. Rationale: the medulla oblongata controls autonomic functions such as heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing. The cerebellum coordinates movement, the thalamus processes sensory information, and the hippocampus is involved in memory. 4. Which type of muscle tissue is responsible for voluntary movement? A. Skeletal muscle. B. Cardiac muscle. C. Smooth muscle. D. Epithelial tissue. Answer: A. Skeletal muscle. Rationale: skeletal muscle is responsible for voluntary movement under conscious control. Cardiac muscle is involuntary and found in the heart. Smooth muscle is involuntary and found in organs, and epithelial tissue is involved in protection and secretion. 5. What is the main function of the mitochondria in a cell? A. Protein synthesis. B. Energy production. C. DNA replication. D. Detoxification. Answer: B. Energy production. Rationale: mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell, generating ADP through cellular respiration to provide energy for the cell. Protein synthesis occurs in the ribosomes, DNA replication happens in the nucleus, and detoxification is carried out by the liver. 6. Which of the following is the largest organ in the human body? A. Liver. B. Heart. C. Skin. D. Brain. Answer: C. Skin. Rationale: the skin is the largest organ in the human body, covering and protecting the body's internal structures. The liver is large but not the largest, the heart is smaller, and the brain, though large in terms of complexity, is not the largest organ by surface area. 7. Which ion is most important in maintaining the resting membrane potential of a neuron? A. Sodium Na+. B. Potassium K+. C. Calcium Ca2+. D. Chloride Cl. Answer: B. Potassium K+. Rationale: potassium ions K+ are primarily responsible for maintaining the resting membrane potential of neurons by moving in and out of the cell, creating an electrical gradient. Sodium, calcium, and chloride ions also play roles in neuronal function but are not as important for the resting potential. 8. Which structure in the heart prevents the backflow of blood into the atria during ventricular contraction? A. Mitral valve. B. Tricuspid valve. C. Aortic valve. D. Pulmonary valve. Answer: A. Mitral valve. Rationale: the mitral valve prevents backflow of blood into the left atrium during ventricular contraction. The tricuspid valve prevents backflow in the right heart, the aortic valve prevents backflow from the aorta, and the pulmonary valve prevents backflow from the pulmonary artery. 9. The process of glycolysis occurs in which part of the cell? A. Nucleus. B. Mitochondria. C. Cytoplasm. D. Endoplasmic reticulum. Answer: C. Cytoplasm. Rationale: glycolysis is the breakdown of glucose into pyruvate and occurs in the cytoplasm. The mitochondria are involved in later stages of glucose metabolism, the nucleus houses genetic material, and the endoplasmic reticulum is involved in protein synthesis and lipid metabolism. 10. Which of the following is a function of the lymphatic system? A. Oxygen transport. B. Regulation of body temperature. C. Fluid balance and immune defense. D. Digestion of food. Answer: C. Fluid balance and immune defense. Rationale: the lymphatic system is primarily responsible for maintaining fluid balance and immune defense. It does not directly transport oxygen, regulate body temperature, or digest food. It helps with fluid recovery, filtering out pathogens, and transporting white blood cells for immunity. 11. Which structure in the eye is responsible for focusing light onto the retina? A. Cornea. B. Iris. C. Lens. D. Retina. Answer: C. Lens. Rationale: the lens focuses light onto the retina. The cornea also helps focus light, but its main role is refraction. The iris controls the amount of light entering the eye, and the retina detects light, but does not focus it. 12. What is the primary function of the large intestine? A. Absorption of nutrients. B. Absorption of water and electrolytes. C. Protein digestion. D. Vitamin synthesis. Answer: B. Absorption of water and electrolytes. Rationale: the large intestine primarily absorbs water and electrolytes from indigestible food matter. The small intestine absorbs nutrients, protein digestion occurs in the stomach and small intestine, and vitamins are synthesized in the colon, but it's not the primary function. 13. Which structure connects the kidney to the bladder? A. Ureter. B. Urethra. C. Renal artery. D. Renal vein. Answer: A. Ureter. Rationale: the ureter connects the kidneys to the bladder, allowing urine to pass through. The urethra carries urine from the bladder to the outside, while the renal artery and renal vein carry blood to and from the kidneys. 14. Which of the following is a function of the cerebellum? A. Controls heart rate. B. Coordinates movement and balance. C. Regulates body temperature. D. Processes sensory information. Answer: B. Coordinates movement and balance. Rationale: the cerebellum is primarily responsible for coordinating voluntary movement and balance. The heart rate is controlled by the medulla oblongata, body temperature is regulated by the hypothalamus, and sensory information is processed by the thalamus. 15. Which structure in the digestive system is responsible for most nutrient absorption? A. Stomach. B. Small intestine. C. Large intestine. D. Esophagus. Answer: B. Small intestine. Rationale: the small intestine is the primary site for nutrient absorption. The stomach breaks down food but does not absorb nutrients, and the large intestine absorbs water. The esophagus serves as a passage for food to the stomach. 16. Which of the following is a function of the thyroid gland? A. Secretion of insulin. B. Regulation of metabolism. C. Production of adrenaline. D. Production of estrogen. Answer: B. Regulation of metabolism. Rationale: the thyroid gland produces hormones, thyroxine, that regulate metabolism. The pancreas produces insulin, the adrenal glands produce adrenaline, and the ovaries produce estrogen. 17. Which part of the brain controls vital autonomic functions such as heart rate and respiration? A. Cerebellum. B. Medulla oblongata. C. Pons. D. Thalamus. Answer: B. Medulla oblongata. Rationale: the medulla oblongata controls vital autonomic functions such as heart rate, respiration, and blood pressure. The cerebellum controls coordination, the pons is involved in sleep and breathing, and the thalamus relays sensory information. 18. What is the primary function of the skeletal system? A. To produce hormones. B. To store calcium. C. To regulate body temperature. D. To protect vital organs. Answer: D. To protect vital organs. Rationale: the skeletal system provides structural support and protects vital organs such as the brain, heart, and lungs. It also stores calcium and produces blood cells, but its primary function is protection. The regulation of body temperature is done by the skin. 19. Which type of blood vessel carries oxygenated blood away from the heart? A. Veins. B. Arteries. C. Capillaries. D. Venules. Answer: B. Arteries. Rationale: arteries carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to the body, except the pulmonary artery. Veins carry deoxygenated blood to the heart, capillaries exchange gases and nutrients, and venules are small veins. 20. What is the main role of the lymphatic system in the immune response? A. Blood clotting. B. Defense against infections. C. Oxygen transport. D. Hormone production. Answer: B. Defense against infections. Rationale: the lymphatic system plays a key role in immune defense by transporting lymph, which contains white blood cells that fight infections. It does not participate in blood clotting, oxygen transport, or hormone production. 21. Which of the following is a characteristic of the autonomic nervous system? A. Controls voluntary movements. B. Regulates involuntary functions. C. Is under conscious control. D. Only affects the skeletal muscles. Answer: B. Regulates involuntary functions. Rationale: the autonomic nervous system controls involuntary functions such as heart rate, digestion, and respiratory rate. Voluntary movements are controlled by the somatic nervous system. It is not under conscious control, and it affects smooth and cardiac muscles, not just skeletal muscles. 22. Which of the following is the function of the pancreas? A. Regulate blood pressure. B. Secrete digestive enzymes and insulin. C. Store bile. D. Produce red blood cells. Answer: B. Secrete digestive enzymes and insulin. Rationale: the pancreas secretes digestive enzymes and insulin, which are essential for digestion and glucose regulation. It does not regulate blood pressure, store bile, the liver does, or produce red blood cells, bone marrow does. 23. What is the main function of the alveoli in the lungs? A. Gas exchange. B. Protection from foreign particles. C. Movement of mucus. D. Production of surfactant. Answer: A. Gas exchange. Rationale: the alveoli are the site of gas exchange in the lungs, where oxygen is absorbed into the blood and carbon dioxide is removed. They also produce surfactant to prevent lung collapse, but their primary function is gas exchange. 24. Which part of the cell is responsible for protein synthesis? A. Nucleus. B. Ribosome. C. Golgi apparatus. D. Endoplasmic reticulum. Answer: B. Ribosome. Rationale: ribosomes are responsible for protein synthesis. The nucleus houses genetic material, the Golgi apparatus modifies and sorts proteins, and the endoplasmic reticulum is involved in protein and lipid synthesis. 25. Which hormone is primarily responsible for regulating the menstrual cycle? A. Insulin. B. Estrogen. C. Progesterone. D. Cortisol. Answer: B. Estrogen. Rationale: estrogen is the hormone primarily responsible for regulating the menstrual cycle. Progesterone prepares the uterus for pregnancy, insulin regulates blood sugar, and cortisol is a stress hormone. 26. What type of connective tissue connects muscles to bones? A. Ligaments. B. Tendons. C. Cartilage. D. Adipose tissue. Answer: B. Tendons. Rationale: tendons connect muscles to bones, enabling movement. Ligaments connect bones to other bones, cartilage provides cushioning in joints, and adipose tissue stores fat. 27. Which of the following structures is part of the digestive system? A. Lungs. B. Pancreas. C. Kidneys. D. Spleen. Answer: B. Pancreas. Rationale: the pancreas is part of the digestive system as it secretes enzymes for digestion. The lungs are part of the respiratory system, the kidneys are part of the urinary system, and the spleen is part of the lymphatic system. 28. Which muscle is responsible for breathing? A. Diaphragm. B. Quadriceps. C. Biceps. D. Hamstrings. Answer: A. Diaphragm. Rationale: the diaphragm is the primary muscle responsible for breathing, contracting, and expanding the lungs. The quadriceps, biceps, and hamstrings are skeletal muscles involved in movement, not respiration. 29. What is the main function of the immune system? A. Transport oxygen. B. Protect the body from pathogens. C. Circulate nutrients. D. Produce red blood cells. Answer: C. Secrete adrenaline and cortisol. Rationale: the adrenal glands secrete hormones like adrenaline, epinephrine, and cortisol, which regulate the body's response to stress. The pancreas produces insulin, metabolism is regulated by thyroid hormones, and eggs and sperm are produced in the gonads. 30. Which of the following is the primary role of the adrenal glands? A. Secrete insulin. B. Regulate metabolism. C. Secrete adrenaline and cortisol. D. Produce eggs and sperm. Answer: B. Filter waste from the blood. Rationale: the kidneys filter waste products from the blood and regulate electrolyte balance and fluid homeostasis. Insulin is produced by the pancreas, red blood cells are produced by the bone marrow, and digestive enzymes are secreted by the pancreas. 31. Which of the following is the primary function of the kidneys? A. Produce insulin. B. Filter waste from the blood. C. Produce red blood cells. D. Secrete digestive enzymes. Answer: B. Filter waste from the blood. Rationale: the kidneys filter waste products from the blood and regulate electrolyte balance and fluid homeostasis. Insulin is produced by the pancreas, red blood cells are produced by the bone marrow, and digestive enzymes are secreted by the pancreas. 32. Which of the following glands is responsible for the production of milk after childbirth? A. Pituitary gland. B. Thyroid gland. C. Mammary glands. D. Adrenal glands. Answer: C. Mammary glands. Rationale: mammary glands produce milk after childbirth in response to hormonal signals. The pituitary gland releases prolactin, which stimulates milk production, but the mammary glands are where milk is produced. The thyroid and adrenal glands do not produce milk. 33. The process by which cells divide to form two identical daughter cells is called A. Meiosis. B. Mitosis. C. Binary fission. D. Conjugation. Answer: B. Mitosis. Rationale: mitosis is the process by which a single cell divides to form two genetically identical daughter cells. Meiosis is used for the production of gametes, binary fission is used by bacteria, and conjugation is a method of genetic exchange in some bacteria. 34. What is the main function of the red bone marrow? A. Produce hormones. B. Produce blood cells. C. Store calcium. D. Produce bile. Answer: B. Produce blood cells. Rationale: red bone marrow is responsible for producing blood cells, including red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. It does not produce hormones, which is the role of endocrine glands, store calcium, which is stored in bones, or produce bile, produced by the liver. 35. Which of the following is not a function of the liver? A. Detoxify harmful substances. B. Store bile. C. Synthesize clotting factors. D. Regulate blood sugar levels. Answer: B. Store bile. Rationale: the liver synthesizes bile, but does not store it. The gallbladder stores bile. The liver detoxifies harmful substances, synthesizes clotting factors, and helps regulate blood sugar levels. 36. Which of the following is responsible for carrying oxygen in the blood? A. Platelets. B. White blood cells. C. Hemoglobin. D. Plasma. Answer: C. Hemoglobin. Rationale: hemoglobin is the protein in red blood cells responsible for carrying oxygen. Platelets are involved in blood clotting, white blood cells fight infections, and plasma is the liquid component of blood that carries nutrients and waste products but not oxygen. 37. The primary function of the digestive system is A. To remove waste from the body. B. To regulate body temperature. C. To break down food and absorb nutrients. D. To produce blood cells. Answer: C. To break down food and absorb nutrients. Rationale: the digestive system is responsible for breaking down food and absorbing nutrients. The excretory system removes waste. The thermoregulatory system regulates body temperature, and blood cells are produced in the bone marrow. 38. Which part of the brain is responsible for processing visual information? A. Occipital lobe. B. Temporal lobe. C. Parietal lobe. D. Frontal lobe. Answer: A. Occipital lobe. Rationale: the occipital lobe processes visual information. The temporal lobe processes auditory information, the parietal lobe is involved in sensory processing, and the frontal lobe is involved in decision-making and motor function. 39. Which of the following structures is not part of the respiratory system? A. Lungs. B. Trachea. C. Esophagus. D. Bronchi. Answer: C. Esophagus. Rationale: the esophagus is part of the digestive system, not the respiratory system. The lungs, trachea, and bronchi are key components of the respiratory system. 40. The process by which glucose is converted into energy in the cell is known as A. Photosynthesis. B. Glycolysis. C. Cellular respiration. D. Fermentation. Answer: C. Cellular respiration. Rationale: cellular respiration is the process by which glucose is converted into ADP, the energy currency of the cell. Glycolysis is the first step in cellular respiration. Photosynthesis occurs in plants, and fermentation is an anaerobic process that occurs in some cells. 41. Which type of muscle is found in the heart? A. Skeletal muscle. B. Cardiac muscle. C. Smooth muscle. D. Epithelial tissue. Answer: B. Cardiac muscle. Rationale: cardiac muscle is the type of muscle found in the heart. Skeletal muscle is attached to bones and enables voluntary movement. Smooth muscle is found in organs and blood vessels, and epithelial tissue lines body surfaces. 42. Which part of the eye adjusts the amount of light that enters the eye? A. Retina. B. Cornea. C. Pupil. D. Lens. Answer: C. Pupil. Rationale: the pupil adjusts the amount of light entering the eye by dilating or constricting. The retina detects light, the cornea refracts light, and the lens focuses light onto the retina. 43. Which of the following is the primary function of the spleen? A. Produce digestive enzymes. B. Filter blood and recycle iron. C. Regulate blood sugar levels. D. Produce white blood cells. Answer: B. Filter blood and recycle iron. Rationale: the spleen filters blood, removing old red blood cells and recycling iron. It also helps fight infections by producing white blood cells, but it does not produce digestive enzymes or regulate blood sugar. 44. Which part of the nervous system controls the fight or flight response? A. Somatic nervous system. B. Autonomic nervous system. C. Central nervous system. D. Peripheral nervous system. Answer: B. Autonomic nervous system. Rationale: the autonomic nervous system controls involuntary functions, including the fight or flight response. The somatic nervous system controls voluntary movements, the central nervous system processes information, and the peripheral nervous system transmits signals to and from the CIS. 45. Which structure connects muscle to bone? A. Tendon. B. Ligament. C. Cartilage. D. Joint capsule. Answer: A. Tendon. Rationale: tendons connect muscles to bones, allowing movement. Ligaments connect bones to other bones, cartilage provides cushioning, and joint capsules protect joints. 46. Which of the following substances is most commonly transported by red blood cells? A. Oxygen. B. Carbon dioxide. C. Nutrients. D. Platelets. Answer: A. Oxygen. Rationale: red blood cells primarily transport oxygen from the lungs to the tissues and carbon dioxide back to the lungs. They do not transport nutrients or platelets. 47. Which organ in the human body produces bile? A. Liver. B. Gallbladder. C. Pancreas. D. Stomach. Answer: A. Liver. Rationale: the liver produces bile, which aids in the digestion and absorption of fats. The gallbladder stores bile, the pancreas secretes digestive enzymes, and the stomach breaks down food. 48. What is the function of the myelin sheath in a neuron? A. To conduct electrical impulses. B. To protect the neuron. C. To speed up the transmission of impulses. D. To store neurotransmitters. Answer: C. To speed up the transmission of impulses. Rationale: the myelin sheath insulates the axon of a neuron, speeding up the transmission of electrical impulses. It does not conduct impulses, protect the neuron, though it does provide some protection, or store neurotransmitters. 49. Which of the following is a function of the lymphatic system? A. Transport oxygen. B. Absorb nutrients. C. Defend the body against infections. D. Regulate blood pressure. Answer: C. Defend the body against infections. Rationale: the lymphatic system plays a key role in immune defense by transporting lymph, which contains white blood cells that fight infections. It does not transport oxygen, absorb nutrients. This is a function of the digestive system, or regulate blood pressure, done by the cardiovascular system. 50. What is the role of insulin in the body? A. Break down glucose. B. Regulate blood sugar levels. C. Stimulate the production of red blood cells. D. Absorb glucose into cells. Answer: B. Regulate blood sugar levels. Rationale: insulin is produced by the pancreas and regulates blood sugar levels by facilitating the uptake of glucose into cells. It does not break down glucose or stimulate red blood cell production. 51. What is the function of the hypothalamus in the brain? A. Control emotions. B. Regulate body temperature. C. Process sensory information. D. Control motor function. Answer: B. Regulate body temperature. Rationale: the hypothalamus helps regulate many autonomic functions such as body temperature, hunger, and thirst. While it plays a role in emotions, sensory processing is handled by the thalamus, and motor control is managed by the motor cortex. 52. Which of the following is the main function of the endocrine system? A. To regulate blood pressure. B. To regulate metabolism and growth. C. To protect the body from infections. D. To produce and store red blood cells. Answer: B. To regulate metabolism and growth. Rationale: the endocrine system consists of glands that release hormones to regulate functions like metabolism, growth, and reproduction. It does not primarily regulate blood pressure, the cardiovascular system does, or produce red blood cells, which occurs in the bone marrow. 53. Which of the following bones is part of the axial skeleton? A. Femur. B. Tibia. C. Vertebrae. D. Radius. Answer: C. Vertebrae. Rationale: the axial skeleton consists of the skull, spine, vertebrae, and rib cage. The femur, tibia, and radius are part of the appendicular skeleton. 54. What is the primary function of the white blood cells? A. Carry oxygen. B. Help with clotting. C. Fight infections. D. Transport nutrients. Answer: C. Fight infections. Rationale: white blood cells are part of the immune system and fight infections. Red blood cells carry oxygen, platelets are involved in blood clotting, and nutrients are transported by plasma. 55. The process of breaking down glucose to produce energy in cells is known as A. Photosynthesis. B. Glycolysis. C. Cellular respiration. D. Fermentation. Answer: C. Cellular respiration. Rationale: Cellular respiration is the process by which glucose is broken down to produce ADP, which cells use for energy. Glycolysis is the first step in cellular respiration, while photosynthesis occurs in plants and fermentation occurs in anaerobic conditions. 56. The movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane from an area of low solute concentration to high solute concentration is called A. Osmosis, B. Diffusion, C. Active transport, D. Facilitated diffusion. Answer: A. Osmosis. Rationale: osmosis is the movement of water across a membrane due to differences in solute concentration. Diffusion involves the movement of solutes, active transport requires energy, and facilitated diffusion involves molecules passing through a membrane via a protein channel. 57. Which organ system is primarily responsible for transporting oxygen and nutrients to tissues? A. Muscular system, B. Respiratory system, C. Cardiovascular system, D. Digestive system. Answer: C. Cardiovascular system. Rationale: the cardiovascular system, heart and blood vessels, transports oxygen and nutrients to tissues throughout the body. The respiratory system brings in oxygen but does not transport it to tissues, the digestive system absorbs nutrients, and the muscular system is responsible for movement. 58. Which part of the brain controls voluntary movements? A. Cerebellum, B. Medulla oblongata, C. Basal ganglia, D. Motor cortex. Answer: D. Motor cortex. Rationale: the motor cortex is the region of the brain responsible for controlling voluntary movements. The cerebellum coordinates movement, the medulla oblongata controls autonomic functions, and the basal ganglia are involved in movement regulation. 59. What is the function of the mitochondria? A. Protein synthesis, B. DNA replication, C. Energy production, D. Detoxification of toxins. Answer: C. Energy production. Rationale: mitochondria are known as the powerhouse of the cell, as they produce ADP, which provides energy for cellular functions. Protein synthesis occurs in ribosomes, DNA replication occurs in the nucleus, and detoxification happens in the liver. 60. What is the primary function of the small intestine? A. Absorption of water, B. Digestion of proteins, C. Absorption of nutrients, D. Storage of bile. Answer: C. Absorption of nutrients. Rationale: the small intestine is the main site for nutrient absorption in the digestive system. Water absorption occurs in the large intestine, proteins are digested in the stomach and small intestine, and bile is stored in the gallbladder. 61. Which of the following structures are responsible for filtering blood in the kidneys? A. Glomeruli, B. Renal pelvis, C. Ureters, D. Nephrons. Answer: A. Glomeruli. Rationale: glomeruli are capillaries in the kidneys where filtration of blood occurs. The renal pelvis collects urine, ureters carry urine to the bladder, and nephrons are the functional units of the kidneys. 62. Which of the following hormones is released by the pancreas to regulate blood glucose levels? A. Thyroxine, B. Insulin, C. Cortisol, D. Estrogen. Answer: B. Insulin. Rationale: insulin is released by the pancreas to lower blood glucose levels. Thyroxine is released by the thyroid, cortisol is a stress hormone from the adrenal glands, and estrogen is a female sex hormone. 63. What type of tissue is responsible for the movement of the body? A. Epithelial tissue, B. Nervous tissue, C. Muscle tissue, D. Connective tissue. Answer: C. Muscle tissue. Rationale: muscle tissue is responsible for movement, either voluntary or involuntary. Epithelial tissue lines body surfaces, nervous tissue transmits signals, and connective tissue provides support. 64. The sympathetic nervous system is responsible for A. Rest and digestion, B. Relaxation and recovery, C. Fight or flight response, D. Control of voluntary movements. Answer: C. Fight or flight response. Rationale: the sympathetic nervous system prepares the body for fight or flight, increasing heart rate and energy expenditure. The parasympathetic system controls rest and digestion, while voluntary movements are controlled by the somatic nervous system. 65. What is the primary role of the circulatory system? A. Transport oxygen and nutrients. B. Remove waste from cells. C. Protect against infection. D. Control body temperature. Answer: A. Transport oxygen and nutrients. Rationale: the circulatory system is responsible for transporting oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and other substances throughout the body. Waste removal and infection control are handled by other systems, and temperature regulation is part of homeostasis. 66. Which of the following is the largest part of the human brain? A. Cerebellum. B. Medulla oblongata. C. Cerebrum. D. Thalamus. Answer: C. Cerebrum. Rationale: the cerebrum is the largest part of the brain, responsible for higher functions like thinking, decision-making, and motor control. The cerebellum coordinates movement, the medulla oblongata controls basic life functions, and the thalamus relays sensory information. 67. Which of the following arteries carries oxygenated blood from the heart to the body? A. Pulmonary artery. B. Aorta. C. Jugular vein. D. Femoral artery. Answer: B. Aorta. Rationale: the aorta is the large artery that carries oxygenated blood from the left ventricle of the heart to the body. The pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs, jugular veins return blood to the heart, and the femoral artery supplies the legs. 68. Which of the following is a function of the integumentary system? A. Regulation of body temperature. B. Secretion of insulin. C. Production of digestive enzymes. D. Production of red blood cells. Answer: A. Regulation of body temperature. Rationale: the integumentary system, including the skin, helps regulate body temperature through sweating and blood flow. It does not secrete insulin, produce digestive enzymes, or create red blood cells. 69. Which blood vessels carry blood away from the heart? A. Veins. B. Arteries. C. Capillaries. D. Venules. Answer: B. Arteries. Rationale: arteries carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to the tissues, while veins return blood to the heart. Capillaries allow exchange of gases and nutrients, and venules are small veins that collect blood from capillaries. 70. What structure in the heart prevents blood from flowing backward into the atria? A. Semilunar valves. B. Atrioventricular valves. C. Coronary arteries. D. Papillary muscles. Answer: B. Atrioventricular valves. Rationale: the atrioventricular (AV) valves prevent the backflow of blood into the atria when the ventricles contract. Semilunar valves prevent backflow into the ventricles. Coronary arteries supply the heart with blood, and papillary muscles help control valve function. 71. Which of the following is the main function of the large intestine? A. Absorb water and electrolytes. B. Produce digestive enzymes. C. Absorb nutrients. D. Detoxify harmful substances. Answer: A. Absorb water and electrolytes. Rationale: the large intestine primarily absorbs water and electrolytes, while also storing indigestible materials before elimination. The small intestine absorbs nutrients, produces enzymes in the pancreas, aid digestion, and detoxification occurs in the liver. 72. Which of the following structures are part of the respiratory zone of the lungs? A. Trachea. B. Bronchioles. C. Alveoli. D. Larynx. Answer: C. Alveoli. Rationale: alveoli are the sites of gas exchange in the lungs. The trachea, bronchioles, and larynx are part of the conducting zone, which transports air to the alveoli. 73. What is the function of the autonomic nervous system? A. Control of voluntary movements. B. Control of involuntary functions. C. Sensory perception. D. Coordination of reflexes. Answer: B. Control of involuntary functions. Rationale: the autonomic nervous system controls involuntary functions like heart rate, digestion, and breathing. Voluntary movements are controlled by the somatic nervous system, sensory perception is handled by sensory nerves, and reflexes are mediated by the spinal cord. 74. Which of the following hormones is responsible for the regulation of the sleep-wake cycle? A. Cortisol. B. Insulin. C. Melatonin. D. Adrenaline. Answer: C. Melatonin. Rationale: melatonin, produced by the pineal gland, regulates the sleep-wake cycle. Cortisol is involved in stress responses, insulin regulates blood sugar, and adrenaline is released during the fight-or-flight response. 75. Which of the following is the main function of the skeletal system? A. Produce red blood cells. B. Protect internal organs. C. Control body temperature. D. Coordinate voluntary movement. Answer: B. Protect internal organs. Rationale: the skeletal system provides structural support and protects internal organs. It also produces red blood cells in the bone marrow, but its primary function is not temperature regulation or movement coordination. 76. Which of the following is true regarding the process of meiosis? A. It results in two identical daughter cells. B. It occurs only in somatic cells. C. It reduces the chromosome number by half. D. It produces 4 diploid cells. Answer: C. It reduces the chromosome number by half. Rationale: meiosis reduces the chromosome number by half, producing 4 haploid cells. It does not produce identical cells. This is characteristic of mitosis, and it occurs in gametes, not somatic cells. Diploid cells are produced by mitosis, not meiosis. 77. Which of the following is the primary function of the pancreas? A. Produce bile. B. Secrete digestive enzymes and insulin. C. Absorb nutrients. D. Filter blood. Answer: B. Secrete digestive enzymes and insulin. Rationale: the pancreas secretes digestive enzymes to aid in food digestion and insulin to regulate blood glucose levels. It does not produce bile, this is the liver. Absorb nutrients, the small intestine does, or filter blood, the kidneys do. 78. Which of the following is the primary role of hemoglobin in red blood cells? A. To transport oxygen. B. To fight infections. C. To produce energy. D. To transport carbon dioxide. Answer: A. To transport oxygen. Rationale: hemoglobin in red blood cells binds to oxygen in the lungs and carries it to tissues throughout the body. While it can also carry carbon dioxide, its primary function is oxygen transport. Hemoglobin does not fight infections or produce energy. 79. Which of the following processes occurs in the mitochondria? A. Protein synthesis. B. DNA replication. C. Cellular respiration. D. ADP synthesis. Answer: C. Cellular respiration. Rationale: the mitochondria are the site of cellular respiration, which produces ADP, the energy currency of the cell. While protein synthesis occurs in the ribosomes, DNA replication takes place in the nucleus. ADP synthesis occurs within the mitochondria during cellular respiration. 80. Which of the following is the most abundant electrolyte in the extracellular fluid? A. Sodium. B. Potassium. C. Calcium. D. Chloride. Answer: A. Sodium. Rationale: sodium is the most abundant cation in the extracellular fluid, and it plays a critical role in maintaining fluid balance and nerve function. Potassium is the most abundant cation in intracellular fluid, while calcium and chloride have roles in other physiological functions. 81. Which part of the brain is responsible for regulating breathing and heart rate? A. Cerebellum. B. Medulla oblongata. C. Thalamus. D. Hippocampus. Answer: B. Medulla oblongata. Rationale: the medulla oblongata controls vital autonomic functions such as breathing and heart rate. The cerebellum coordinates movement, the thalamus relays sensory information, and the hippocampus is involved in memory and learning. 82. Which of the following structures prevents food from entering the trachea during swallowing? A. Epiglottis. B. Larynx. C. Pharynx. D. Uvula. Answer: A. Epiglottis. Rationale: The epiglottis is a flap of tissue that covers the trachea during swallowing to prevent food from entering the airway. The larynx is involved in voice production. The pharynx is part of the throat, and the uvula helps direct food toward the esophagus. 83. What is the primary function of the myelin sheath in neurons? A. Increase the speed of nerve impulse transmission. B. Store neurotransmitters. C. Generate electrical signals. D. Protect the cell body of the neuron. Answer. A. Increase the speed of nerve impulse transmission. Rationale. The myelin sheath acts as an insulator around axons and speeds up the transmission of nerve impulses. It does not store neurotransmitters, which are stored in synaptic vesicles, generate electrical signals, or protect the cell body. The cell body is protected by the surrounding environment. 84. Which of the following structures is responsible for producing bile? A. Liver. B. Gallbladder. C. Pancreas. D. Small intestine. Answer. A. Liver. Rationale. The liver produces bile, which is stored in the gallbladder. The pancreas produces digestive enzymes, and the small intestine absorbs nutrients. 85. What is the main function of the red bone marrow? A. Produce red and white blood cells. B. Store fat. C. Store calcium. D. Protect internal organs. Answer. A. Produce red and white blood cells. Rationale. The red bone marrow is responsible for producing red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. It does not store fat. This is done in yellow bone marrow, calcium, which is stored in bones, or protect organs, which is the function of the skeletal system. 86. Which of the following is the main function of the renal system? A. To regulate metabolism. B. To filter blood and produce urine. C. To control body temperature. D. To produce hormones. Answer. B. To filter blood and produce urine. Rationale. The renal system, including the kidneys, is responsible for filtering blood, removing waste products, and producing urine. It does not regulate metabolism, endocrine system, control temperature, thermoregulatory mechanisms, or primarily produce hormones, though it does produce erythropoietin. 87. Which of the following glands is responsible for producing adrenaline? A. Thyroid. B. Pineal. C. Adrenal glands. D. Pituitary. Answer. C. Adrenal glands. Rationale. The adrenal glands produce adrenaline epinephrine, which is involved in the fight-or-flight response. The thyroid produces thyroid hormones, the pineal gland produces melatonin, and the pituitary gland secretes hormones that regulate various bodily functions. 88. Which of the following is the primary function of the large intestine? A. Digestion of proteins. B. Absorption of water and electrolytes. C. Absorption of nutrients. D. Secretion of digestive enzymes. Answer. B. Absorption of water and electrolytes. Rationale. The primary function of the large intestine is to absorb water and electrolytes from the remaining indigestible food matter. Protein digestion occurs in the stomach and small intestine, while nutrients are absorbed in the small intestine and digestive enzymes are secreted by the pancreas. 89. Which of the following ions is most abundant in intracellular fluid? A. Sodium. B. Potassium. C. Chloride. D. Calcium. Answer. B. Potassium. Rationale. Potassium is the most abundant cation in intracellular fluid, playing a key role in maintaining cellular function and resting membrane potential. Sodium is more abundant in extracellular fluid, while chloride and calcium have different roles. 90. What is the function of the parathyroid hormone, PTH? A. Lower blood calcium levels. B. Raise blood calcium levels. C. Regulate metabolism. D. Control the production of red blood cells. Answer. B. Raise blood calcium levels. Rationale. Parathyroid hormone, PTH, increases blood calcium levels by stimulating the release of calcium from bones, increasing calcium absorption in the intestines, and reducing calcium excretion by the kidneys. It does not lower blood calcium levels or regulate metabolism. 91. Which of the following is the primary role of the adrenal glands? A. Regulate metabolism. B. Produce sex hormones. C. Produce cortisol and adrenaline. D. Produce insulin. Answer: C. Produce cortisol and adrenaline. Rationale: the adrenal glands produce cortisol, which helps with stress response, and adrenaline epinephrine, which is part of the fight-or-flight response. The thyroid regulates metabolism, sex hormones are produced in the gonads, and insulin is produced in the pancreas. 92. Which of the following is true about the process of osmosis? A. It requires energy. B. It is the movement of water from low to high solute concentration. C. It is the movement of solutes from low to high concentration. D. It only occurs in plant cells. Answer: B. It is the movement of water from low to high solute concentration. Rationale: osmosis is the movement of water across a semi-permeable membrane from low to high solute concentration. It does not require energy, it is passive transport, it does not move solutes directly, and it occurs in both plant and animal cells. 93. Which part of the neuron receives incoming signals? A. Axon. B. Dendrites.
C. Cell body. D. Myelin sheath.
Answer: B. Dendrites. Rationale: dendrites are responsible for receiving incoming signals from other neurons or sensory receptors. The axon transmits signals away from the cell body, and the myelin sheath insulates the axon, speeding up signal transmission. The cell body contains the nucleus and organelles of the neuron. 94. Which structure in the respiratory system is responsible for gas exchange? A. Trachea. B. Bronchi. C. Alveoli. D. Larynx. Answer: C. Alveoli. Rationale: the alveoli are tiny air sacs in the lungs where gas exchange, oxygen and carbon dioxide, occurs. The trachea, bronchi, and larynx are part of the airways that transport air but do not directly participate in gas exchange. 95. The primary function of red blood cells is A. To transport oxygen. B. To fight infection. C. To help in blood clotting. D. To maintain body temperature. Answer: A. To transport oxygen. Rationale: red blood cells are responsible for carrying oxygen from the lungs to tissues and carbon dioxide from tissues back to the lungs. White blood cells fight infection, platelets aid in clotting, and red blood cells do not regulate body temperature. 96. Which of the following is a function of the liver? A. Store bile. B. Produce insulin. C. Detoxify harmful substances. D. Store red blood cells. Answer: C. Detoxify harmful substances. Rationale: the liver detoxifies harmful substances such as alcohol and drugs and also produces bile for digestion. The pancreas produces insulin, and the spleen stores red blood cells, not the liver. 97. Which of the following is the primary function of the mitochondria? A. Protein synthesis. B. ADP production. C. DNA replication. D. Detoxification of waste. Answer: B. ADP production. Rationale: mitochondria are known as the powerhouses of the cell because they produce ADP, the energy currency of the cell. They are not directly involved in protein synthesis, DNA replication, or detoxification. 98. What is the function of the gallbladder? A. Store bile. B. Produce bile. C. Break down food. D. Absorb nutrients. Answer: A. Store bile. Rationale: the gallbladder stores bile produced by the liver, releasing it into the small intestine to aid in the digestion of fats. It does not produce bile, the liver does, break down food, the stomach does, or absorb nutrients, the small intestine does. 99. Which of the following is the primary function of the thymus gland? A. Produce insulin. B. Regulate metabolism. C. Produce T cells for immune function. D. Control calcium levels. Answer: C. Produce T cells for immune function. Rationale: the thymus gland is responsible for producing T cells, which are crucial for the immune response. It does not produce insulin. This is the pancreas. Regulate metabolism, the thyroid does, or control calcium levels, the parathyroid does. 100. What is the primary role of the lymphatic system? A. Transport oxygen. B. Absorb nutrients. C. defend the body against infection. D. Remove waste from the body. Answer: C. Defend the body against infection. Rationale: the lymphatic system is primarily involved in immune defense by transporting lymph, which contains immune cells. It does not directly transport oxygen. This is the circulatory system. Absorb nutrients, the digestive system does, or remove waste. Kidneys and liver do this. 101. Which of the following glands is responsible for regulating metabolism? A. Pituitary gland. B. Adrenal gland. C. Thyroid gland. D. Pineal gland. Answer: C. Defend the body against infection. Rationale: the lymphatic system is primarily involved in immune defense by transporting lymph, which contains immune cells. It does not directly transport oxygen. This is the circulatory system. Absorb nutrients, the digestive system does, or remove waste. Kidneys and liver do this. 102. Which of the following is a function of the large intestine? A. Absorb nutrients. B. Absorb water and electrolytes. C. Break down carbohydrates. D. Digest proteins. Answer: C. Thyroid gland. Rationale: the thyroid gland produces hormones like thyroxine that regulate metabolism. The pituitary gland regulates various hormones, the adrenal glands produce stress hormones, and the pineal gland regulates sleep-wake cycles. 103. Which type of joint allows for the widest range of motion in the body? A. Hinge joint. B. Ball and socket joint. C. Pivot joint. D. Saddle joint. Answer: B. Ball and socket joint. Rationale: the ball and socket joint, e.g., the hip and shoulder joints, allows for the widest range of motion in all directions. Hinge joints, e.g., the knee, allow movement in one plane. Pivot joints allow rotational movement, and saddle joints allow limited movement. 104. Which of the following is the primary function of the spleen? A. Produce insulin. B. Store red blood cells. C. Filter blood and recycle iron. D. Store bile. Answer: C. Filter blood and recycle iron. Rationale: the spleen filters blood, removes old red blood cells, and recycles iron. It does not produce insulin. This is the pancreas. Store red blood cells. This is the bone marrow. Or store bile. This is the gallbladder. 105. What is the main function of the kidneys glomerulus? A. Reabsorb water. B. Filter blood to form urine. C. Secrete glucose. D. Store urine. Answer: B. Filter blood to form urine. Rationale: the glomerulus is a network of capillaries in the kidneys where filtration of blood occurs to form urine. It does not directly reabsorb water. This happens in the renal tubules, secrete glucose, or store urine. This occurs in the bladder. 106. Which of the following bones is part of the axial skeleton? A. Femur. B. Tibia. C. Vertebrae. D. Radius. Answer: C. Vertebrae. Rationale: the vertebrae are part of the axial skeleton, which includes the skull, vertebral column, and rib cage. The femur, tibia, and radius are part of the appendicular skeleton. 107. Which of the following bones is part of the axial skeleton? A. Femur. B. Tibia. C. Vertebrae. D. Radius. Answer: C. Vertebrae. Rationale: the vertebrae are part of the axial skeleton, which includes the skull, vertebral column, and ribs. The femur, tibia, and radius are part of the appendicular skeleton. 108. What is the primary function of the pancreas? A. Produce insulin and digestive enzymes. B. Produce adrenaline. C. Regulate metabolism. D. Filter toxins from the blood. Answer: A. Produce insulin and digestive enzymes. Rationale: the pancreas has both endocrine, producing insulin, and exocrine, producing digestive enzymes, functions. It does not produce adrenaline. This is done by the adrenal glands. Regulate metabolism. This is done by the thyroid. Or filter toxins. The liver does this. 109. Which of the following muscles is responsible for the movement of the shoulder joint? A. Biceps brachii. B. Deltoid. C. Trapezius. D. Gastrocnemius. Answer: B. Deltoid. Rationale: The deltoid muscle is responsible for the movement of the shoulder joint, particularly abduction. The biceps brachii is involved in elbow flexion, the trapezius supports posture, and the gastrocnemius is a calf muscle involved in foot movement. 110. What is the primary function of the respiratory system? A. Transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. B. Break down food. C. Filter harmful particles from the body. D. Produce red blood cells. Answer. A. Transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. Rationale. The respiratory system is responsible for the intake of oxygen and removal of carbon dioxide through processes like breathing and gas exchange in the lungs. It does not break down food. This is the digestive system. Filter harmful particles. This is done by the lymphatic and immune systems. Or produce blood cells. The bone marrow does this. 111. Which part of the nervous system is responsible for the fight or flight response? A. Parasympathetic nervous system. B. Sympathetic nervous system. C. Central nervous system. D. Somatic nervous system. Answer. B. Sympathetic nervous system. Rationale. The sympathetic nervous system is responsible for the fight or flight response, increasing heart rate, dilating airways, and diverting blood to muscles. The parasympathetic system promotes rest and digest activities. The central nervous system includes the brain and spinal cord, and the somatic system controls voluntary movement. 112. Which of the following is responsible for the immune response to pathogens? A. Red blood cells. B. White blood cells. C. Platelets. D. Plasma. Answer. B. White blood cells. Rationale. White blood cells, leukocytes, are key players in the immune response, identifying and attacking pathogens. Red blood cells transport oxygen, platelets help with clotting, and plasma is the liquid component of blood. 113. What is the function of the pituitary gland? A. Produce insulin. B. Secrete hormones that regulate other glands. C. Store bile. D. Regulate blood pressure. Answer. B. Secrete hormones that regulate other glands. Rationale. The pituitary gland secretes hormones that regulate other glands such as the thyroid, adrenal glands, and gonads. It does not produce insulin. This is the pancreas. Store bile. This is the gallbladder. Or directly regulate blood pressure. This is controlled by several systems. 114. Which of the following substances is essential for the formation of red blood cells? A. Vitamin A, B. Vitamin B12. C. Vitamin D, D. Vitamin C. Answer. B. Vitamin B12. Rationale. Vitamin B12 is essential for the production of red blood cells. It helps in DNA synthesis and the formation of healthy red blood cells in the bone marrow. Vitamins A, D, and C have different roles in vision, bone health, and immune function. 115. Which ion plays a crucial role in muscle contraction? A. Calcium.
B. Sodium.
C. Potassium. D. Chloride. Answer. A. Calcium. Rationale. Calcium ions are crucial for muscle contraction as they bind to troponin, allowing actin and myosin filaments to interact. Sodium and potassium are involved in action potential generation, while chloride plays a role in maintaining cell membrane potential. 116. Which is the largest organ in the body? A. Heart. B. Brain. C. Liver. D. Skin. Answer. D. Skin. Rationale. The skin is the largest organ of the body, covering and protecting all other organs. It helps with temperature regulation and sensation. The heart, brain, and liver are important organs, but they are not the largest. 117. Which part of the brain controls voluntary movements? A. Cerebellum. B. Medulla oblongata. C. Spinal cord. D. Cerebrum. Answer. D. Cerebrum. Rationale. The cerebrum controls voluntary movements, along with higher functions such as thought and sensation. The cerebellum coordinates motor activity and balance. The medulla oblongata controls autonomic functions, and the spinal cord transmits signals to and from the brain. 118. What is the primary function of the coronary arteries? A. Supply oxygenated blood to the heart muscle. B. Deliver oxygenated blood to the lungs. C. Drain deoxygenated blood from the heart. D. Transport blood to the brain. Answer: D. Cerebrum. Rationale: the cerebrum controls voluntary movements, along with higher functions such as thought and sensation. The cerebellum coordinates motor activity and balance. The medulla oblongata controls autonomic functions, and the spinal cord transmits signals to and from the brain. 119. What is the function of the cerebellum? A. Regulate heart rate. B. Coordinate voluntary muscle movements. C. Control breathing. D. Process sensory information. Answer: B. Coordinate voluntary muscle movements. Rationale: the cerebellum coordinates voluntary muscle movements and maintains balance and posture. It does not regulate heart rate. This is done by the medulla oblongata. Control breathing: the medulla oblongata also controls this, or process sensory information. This is done by the thalamus. 120. Which of the following structures is part of the digestive system? A. Kidneys. B. Heart. C. Esophagus. D. Lungs. Answer: C. Esophagus. Rationale: the esophagus is part of the digestive system, responsible for moving food from the mouth to the stomach. The kidneys are part of the urinary system. The heart is part of the cardiovascular system, and the lungs are part of the respiratory system. 121. What is the function of the lymphatic system? A. Transport oxygen. B. Absorb nutrients. C. Defend the body against infection. D. Remove waste from the body. Answer: C. Defend the body against infection. Rationale: the lymphatic system is primarily involved in immune defense by transporting lymph, which contains immune cells. It does not directly transport oxygen. This is the circulatory system. Absorb nutrients, the digestive system does, or remove waste. Kidneys and liver do this. 122. Which part of the brain is responsible for regulating balance and coordination? A. Cerebellum. B. Medulla oblongata. C. Thalamus. D. Hippocampus. Answer: A. Cerebellum. Rationale: the cerebellum is responsible for coordinating voluntary muscle movements and maintaining balance. The medulla oblongata controls autonomic functions like heart rate and breathing. The thalamus relays sensory information, and the hippocampus is involved in memory formation. 123. Which blood component is responsible for clotting? A. White blood cells. B. Platelets. C. Red blood cells. D. Plasma. Answer: B. Platelets. Rationale: platelets, thrombocytes, are responsible for clotting and preventing excessive bleeding. White blood cells fight infection, red blood cells transport oxygen, and plasma is the liquid component of blood that carries nutrients and waste. 124. What is the function of the gallbladder in digestion? A. Produce bile. B. Store and concentrate bile. C. Absorb nutrients. D. Produce digestive enzymes. Answer: B. Store and concentrate bile. Rationale: the gallbladder stores and concentrates bile produced by the liver to aid in fat digestion. It does not produce bile. This is the liver's function. Break down fats. The small intestine and pancreas help with this, or absorb nutrients. This is done by the small intestine. 125. Which of the following is a function of the liver? A. Store bile. B. Filter blood and produce bile. C. Regulate body temperature. D. Produce insulin. Answer: B. Filter blood and produce bile. Rationale: the liver filters toxins from the blood, stores nutrients, and produces bile to aid digestion. It does not regulate body temperature. This is the role of the skin and hypothalamus, nor does it produce insulin. This is the pancreas. 126. Which of the following organs produces the hormone insulin? A. Pancreas. B. Liver. C. Thyroid. D. Adrenal glands. Answer: A. Pancreas. Rationale: the pancreas produces insulin, which regulates blood sugar levels. The liver stores glycogen, the thyroid regulates metabolism, and the adrenal glands produce hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. 127. Which of the following blood vessels carries oxygenated blood away from the heart? A. Pulmonary artery. B. Pulmonary vein. C. Aorta. D. Vena cava. Answer: C. Aorta. Rationale: the aorta carries oxygenated blood from the left ventricle of the heart to the rest of the body. The pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs, the pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart, and the vena cava carries deoxygenated blood from the body to the heart. 128. What part of the neuron receives signals from other neurons? A. Axon. B. Dendrites. C. Synapse. D. Myelin sheath. Answer: B. Dendrites. Rationale: dendrites are the branching structures of a neuron that receive electrical signals from other neurons. The axon transmits signals away from the neuron. The synapse is the gap between neurons where neurotransmitters are released, and the myelin sheath insulates the axon for faster signal transmission. 129. Which of the following is a function of the kidneys? A. Filter blood and produce urine. B. Regulate blood pressure and heart rate. C. Store nutrients and vitamins. D. Regulate hormone production. Answer: A. Filter blood and produce urine. Rationale: the kidneys filter waste products and excess substances from the blood to form urine, which is excreted from the body. They also help regulate fluid balance and electrolyte levels, but they do not directly regulate heart rate or produce hormones, though they produce erythropoietin. 130. Which of the following bones is part of the appendicular skeleton? A. Skull. B. Sternum. C. Clavicle.
D. Vertebrae.
Answer: C. Clavicle. Rationale: the clavicle, collarbone, is part of the appendicular skeleton, which includes the limbs and girdles. The skull and vertebrae are part of the axial skeleton, and the sternum is part of the thoracic cage. 131. What is the primary function of the circulatory system? A. Carry oxygen and nutrients to the body's cells. B. Regulate body temperature. C. Protect the body from infection. D. Control the body's movement. Answer: A. Carry oxygen and nutrients to the body's cells. Rationale: the primary function of the circulatory system is to transport oxygen, nutrients, and hormones to the body's cells while removing waste products. While it also plays a role in temperature regulation and immunity, its main function is transport. 132. Which of the following glands produces adrenaline? A. Pituitary gland. B. Pineal gland. C. Adrenal glands. D. Thyroid gland. Answer: C. Adrenal glands. Rationale: the adrenal glands produce adrenaline, also known as epinephrine, which prepares the body for the fight-or-flight response. The pituitary gland regulates other endocrine functions, the pineal gland produces melatonin, and the thyroid gland regulates metabolism. 133. What is the function of hemoglobin in red blood cells? A. Carry oxygen. B. Fight infection. C. Help with clotting. D. Transport carbon dioxide. Answer: A. Carry oxygen. Rationale: hemoglobin is the protein in red blood cells that binds to oxygen in the lungs and transports it through the bloodstream to tissues. While red blood cells help transport carbon dioxide, the primary function of hemoglobin is oxygen transport. 134. Which of the following is a function of the skeletal system? A. Regulate body temperature. B. Protect vital organs. C. Produce hormones. D. Regulate fluid balance. Answer: B. Protect vital organs. Rationale: the skeletal system provides protection for vital organs like the brain, heart, and lungs. It does not directly regulate body temperature, the integumentary system does, produce hormones, the endocrine system does, or regulate fluid balance. This is a function of the kidneys. 135. What is the role of the small intestine in digestion? A. Absorb nutrients. B. Break down food. C. Store food. D. Produce digestive enzymes. Answer: A. Absorb nutrients. Rationale: the small intestine is responsible for absorbing nutrients from digested food. While it also aids in digestion via enzymes, its primary role is nutrient absorption. The stomach stores food, and the pancreas produces digestive enzymes. 136. Which part of the brain is responsible for regulating basic life functions, such as breathing and heart rate? A. Cerebrum. B. Medulla oblongata. C. Thalamus. D. Hippocampus. Answer: B. Medulla oblongata. Rationale: the medulla oblongata controls autonomic functions like heart rate, breathing, and blood pressure. The cerebrum controls higher brain functions. The thalamus relays sensory information, and the hippocampus is involved in memory. 137. What is the role of the thymus in the immune system? A. Produce antibodies. B. Produce red blood cells. C. Store lymph. D. Mature T cells. Answer: D. Mature T cells. Rationale: the thymus is where T cells mature before being released into the bloodstream to fight infections. It does not produce antibodies. This is done by B cells, red blood cells, the bone marrow does this, or store lymph. This is the function of lymph nodes. 138. Which of the following is a function of the respiratory system? A. Filter toxins from the body. B. Regulate blood pressure. C. Absorb nutrients. D. Exchange gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Answer: D. Exchange gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Rationale: the primary function of the respiratory system is gas exchange. Oxygen enters the body and carbon dioxide is removed. It does not filter toxins. This is the liver and kidneys. Regulate blood pressure. This is the cardiovascular system. Or absorb nutrients. This is the digestive system. 139. What part of the blood is responsible for transporting oxygen? A. Platelets. B. Plasma. C. Red blood cells. D. White blood cells. Answer: C. Red blood cells. Rationale: red blood cells contain hemoglobin, which binds to oxygen and carries it through the bloodstream to tissues throughout the body. Platelets help with clotting, plasma carries nutrients and waste, and white blood cells fight infection. 140. Which of the following muscles is responsible for the contraction of the heart? A. Skeletal muscle. B. Cardiac muscle. C. Smooth muscle. D. Voluntary muscle. Answer: B. Cardiac muscle. Rationale: cardiac muscle is responsible for the contraction of the heart. It is specialized for continuous, rhythmic contractions. Skeletal muscle controls voluntary movements. Smooth muscle is found in organs like the intestines, and voluntary muscle is a general term for muscles controlled by the somatic nervous system. 141. Which of the following is a function of the large intestine? A. Absorb nutrients. B. Store bile. C. Absorb water and electrolytes. D. Secrete digestive enzymes. Answer: C. Absorb water and electrolytes. Rationale: the primary function of the large intestine is to absorb water and electrolytes, which helps in the formation of solid stool. The small intestine is responsible for nutrient absorption, bile is stored in the gallbladder, and digestive enzymes are produced by the pancreas. 142. Which structure in the eye focuses light onto the retina? A. Cornea. B. Retina.
C. Lens.
D. Optic nerve. Answer: C. Lens. Rationale: the lens focuses light onto the retina, which then sends visual signals to the brain through the optic nerve. The cornea also helps focus light, but it is primarily the lens that adjusts focus for near and far vision. The retina processes light, and the optic nerve transmits visual information to the brain. 143. What is the primary function of the thyroid gland? A. Regulate blood sugar levels. B. Control metabolism. C. Produce insulin. D. Control growth and development. Answer: B. Control metabolism. Rationale: the thyroid gland produces thyroid hormones, T3 and T4, that regulate metabolism by controlling how fast the body uses energy. It does not regulate blood sugar levels, this is the pancreas, produce insulin, also the pancreas, or control growth, though it influences growth through metabolism. 144. Which of the following is the main component of the lymphatic fluid lymph? A. Oxygen. B. Nutrients. C. White blood cells. D. Red blood cells. Answer: C. White blood cells. Rationale: lymph is a fluid that contains white blood cells, which are part of the immune response. It also contains proteins, lipids, and waste products, but the main cellular component is white blood cells. Lymph does not typically contain red blood cells, as it circulates through the lymphatic vessels, not the blood vessels. 145. What is the primary function of the alveoli in the lungs? A. Warm the air before it enters the lungs. B. Filter dust and particles from the air. C. Allow gas exchange between the lungs and blood. D. Control the pH of the blood. Answer: C. Allow gas exchange between the lungs and blood. Rationale: the alveoli are tiny air sacs in the lungs where oxygen is exchanged with carbon dioxide in the blood. They do not warm the air. This is the job of the nasal passages. Filter dust, the cilia in the respiratory tract do this. Or control blood pH. This is regulated by the kidneys and lungs. 146. Which of the following is the role of the lymph nodes? A. Store oxygen. B. Store and filter lymph. C. Produce hormones. D. Transport nutrients. Answer: B. Store and filter lymph. Rationale: lymph nodes filter lymph, trapping harmful particles like bacteria, viruses, and cancer cells. They also store lymphocytes, a type of white blood cell, that help with immune defense. They do not store oxygen, produce hormones, or transport nutrients. 147. Which of the following hormones is produced by the adrenal glands? A. Thyroxine. B. Cortisol. C. Insulin.
D. Melatonin.
Answer: B. Cortisol. Rationale: the adrenal glands produce cortisol, a hormone that helps manage stress, regulate metabolism, and reduce inflammation. Thyroxine is produced by the thyroid gland, insulin by the pancreas, and melatonin by the pineal gland. 148. Which part of the brain is responsible for memory and learning? A. Cerebellum. B. Hippocampus. C. Medulla oblongata. D. Thalamus. Answer: B. Hippocampus. Rationale: the hippocampus is critical for the formation and retrieval of memories, as well as learning. The cerebellum coordinates movement and balance, the medulla oblongata regulates autonomic functions, and the thalamus relays sensory signals. 149. Which of the following is the main function of red blood cells? A. Fight infections. B. Carry oxygen to tissues. C. Produce hormones. D. Control blood clotting. Answer: B. Carry oxygen to tissues. Rationale: the primary function of red blood cells is to carry oxygen from the lungs to tissues and organs and return carbon dioxide back to the lungs. White blood cells fight infection. Red blood cells do not produce hormones or directly control clotting. Platelets do this. 150. Which of the following structures connects muscles to bones? A. Ligaments. B. Tendons. C. Cartilage.
D. Joints.
Answer: B. Tendons. Rationale: tendons are fibrous tissues that connect muscles to bones and transmit the force generated by muscles to bones, facilitating movement. Ligaments connect bones to other bones, cartilage provides cushioning between bones, and joints allow for the movement of bones.